Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the all-new 2023 Range Rover. This is the P440e SE trim level. It's finished off in Belgravia green, and it has an MSRP just shy of $130,000. Base MSRP is right around 110, so we have a few options for this model here to go over. There's also a few different engine options that you can get as well. So we are going to start off with what powers this specific model. This has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's also paired with a hybrid system. This has a 31.8 kilowatt lithium-ion battery pack, and it's paired to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Now this pumps out 434 horsepower, 457 pound-feet of torque. That is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,900-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds with a top speed of 140. Now, as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking right around 21 miles per gallon combined between city and highway, and this can also go right around 48 miles just on the EV system alone. So with all those specs out of the way, let's move on to the exterior styling now, where this has a pretty classy design to it. In a world where a lot of vehicles are going more boxy, like the Defender, we have the Range Rover here that is more elegant and classy. So with this front end design, you will see Range Rover with the blacked out logos on the base of that hood. We have a nice wraparound design for the line on that hood too. I love how the LED headlight housings blend in nicely with this grille too. You can see this gloss black trim piece that works its way to the opposite side. We have a brush trim piece for the main surround. Plenty of cutouts in that grille too. This even has the headlight washers that are on both sides, forward-facing camera with all these sensors, LED fog lights, more trim for that lower grille, I'll call it. And there's even some more trim that you see that matches the grille. So everything comes together very nicely for this front end look. And this even has a set of 21-inch wheels. This also has air ride suspension. Currently it is in the entry and exit level, so this is as low as it goes. We have the black calipers too. I think it's a nice color when you combine it with this exterior green. And then when you have this in off-road setting too, that gives it just over 11 inches of ground clearance. So just depending on how you are driving your Range Rover, you have a few different options. Now you will notice too that there's more of the trim that you saw up front in the front section of both doors. And this even has the two-tone exterior look with the green and all of the gloss black for the upper section. It's on these power folding side mirrors, which have the turn signal as well as the camera. And then very clean lines that run down the side. There is a prominent one from the headlight all the way to this trim piece on the back. So it doesn't quite get to the taillights, but it's interesting to see that little section right there. And then as you saw earlier, we have the door handles that do pop out when you lock the vehicle. Now we have that nice flush design. And I like how the rear comes to a point. That's about the only crisp line or angle that you will see for this entire vehicle. In a way, it looks like some Rolls-Royce models from this back corner here. But as we work our way to the rear, massive rear window, wiper blades up top, third brake light is up in the spoiler. This has a backup camera with all these sensors. It can tow right around 5,500 pounds, pretty adequate for the engine that is available. And then as we work our way to the cargo space, if you use the button by the backup camera, it just opens up the single liftgate. If you push the button on the key fob, it will deploy both of them. So it just depends on what you are doing if you need both of these opened. And for this, I have some items in the back here. It is pretty spacious with the back seats up. You have a net on one side. There's some hooks where you can place groceries. There's also a net on this passenger side. And then for these controls right here, this button in the middle will actually lower the entire middle section. So if you don't need a middle seat, you just have two people, you can lower that from back here. You can also raise and lower the back seats, and you can even lower the rear of this vehicle. Hopefully you can hear that. If you need a little bit more for the load height and you want this lower down, you can do that. You can raise it back up if you need that too. So it's pretty versatile in that aspect. And we even have this divider here that you can flip up. There's this strap on the back side so you could place in some items if you need to, just depending on what's in the back. There's even a spare tire underneath that front one. And then up top, we have part of the Meridian sound system. And when you push on that one button, both of those will close, which is nice to see, of course. As we work our way to the back seats now, you can lock and unlock this from all the door handles. And we have a beautiful interior. Everything is covered in leather or the piano black. And we have a lot of controls. We have memory seating adjustments. You can recline, move these forwards and backwards. You can even adjust both of the windows as well as both of these sunshades. So you can do them individually or both rears at the same time. We have the sunshade for the moonroof. You can mute the audio. There's some reading and dome lights too. Lock and unlock and some storage in that lower section. And then for these beautiful two-tone seats, they have a nice design to them. With it in the entry and exit height at 5'10", really not much of a step to get into these seats, but it is so comfortable and luxurious. You will see there's some storage pockets behind both front seats, 2 air vents in the middle, and then if I quickly turn on this vehicle, you will now see all these controls come to life. So we have the same functions for both of these dials. If I pull it towards myself, this is how you can adjust the fan speed. If I push it back in, now we have the temperature. And if I push it one more time, we have the heated and ventilated seats for both of these outer seats. Very cool to see that. There's a 3-prong down below, and then some other adjustments in the middle, like where you would like the air to go. And you have some additional fan speed options here for the other air vents. And then right in the middle, if you have this down, we have this screen right here that you can go through, as well as a little bit of storage behind that. So mainly just for your phone or some small items like pens, anything like that. But for this screen, you can go through the seating adjustments. So you have your heated seats, you have adjustments to recline them and everything like that. If we go back to home, we can go into the climates. So if you don't want to use some of those physical buttons, you don't want to reach that far, you can quickly go through all of this, even your air quality. You have your lighting to go through. There's an array of different options to choose from. You even have some other lighting options to go through. And then for the blinds, you can open and close the one for the roof there. You can see the temperature. We even have cup holders. That will take a second here. And you will see this button right here. If you push on that, now we have cup holders. You can't actually close it until the entire thing closes. It would be cool to see a screen right here, but that is just a trim piece. And then on this right side, you can see we have a few other settings to go through. And if I push on this button here, you can actually raise this or you can stop it and bring it back down. Now, as far as visibility goes from the back seats, that pillar's not all that bulky, so you have so much lighting for your backseat passengers. Very, very nice place to be. Now, if we take a look at the front door panel, we will shut this back off. You will see it is just like the rear door panel. However, there's all the window adjustments. You can even lower the vehicle. So if it is not in the access height, you can push on that button and it will lower for all of your passengers. Side mirror adjustments, memory seating adjustments, everything is just as you saw. And then we have the same seats up front, of course. Now for the steering wheel, it's finished off in leather for the surround, and then we have more of the brush trim accents, as well as being on these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. So let's fire this back up so we can go through more of this technology. And you will see for the digital gauge cluster, currently it is showing miles per hour and fuel level on this left side. On the right side is the tach, as well as some of the electric system components like your charge and your power output. And then right in the middle, you can use buttons on this left side to further go through that. So currently this is set up. We have volume, there's voice commands, Bluetooth, tuning, even a favorites control. But if I push on the center there, now we have all of these here where you can further go through this information. So currently in the info panel, you can go through that, look at your driver assistance. You can go into the empty panel so you can just see nothing basically, more of a calm screen. There's navigation along with music. You can pull up your trip summary as well, and then even monitor the four-wheel drive system and the center locking diff. Now, if we go back to the display layout, you will notice that we are in dial right now. Map will just pull up the map in full screen, which is very nice to see. You can still go through some of this info over on the left side, however. And then if we go into focused, that gives you a little bit different of a view where you have basically a triple screen design, where you can see some info in the middle, nav on that left side, which you can configure just depending on what you would like to see. And then you can go back to dial if you would like that. So just depending on what you would like to see for the day, it gives you a lot of options, which is nice. Now on this right side, you will see all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, even the heated steering wheel. And then on the left side, we have the liftgate release along with the fuel cap, more of that leather trim. This does have a head-up display, so it shows miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then we have air vents in the middle, more leather covering the dash, and a massive touchscreen system right in the middle here. So if we start with these 4 icons on this left side, you will see, let's go back there, you will see we have a lot of apps to go into. Your seats, your climates, EV system. You can go into the 4-wheel drive and check out all of that, look at your phone, media. There's quite a lot to go through, and it's very nice to be able to quickly get into these, just depending on what you would like to see, of course. So under climates, you can go into the massaging seats, you can adjust them, you can even adjust your rear passenger seats, you can fold everything or unfold it from the driver's seat too. We also have some other settings that you can go into. You can go into the ride height too to go through all of these depending on the ground clearance that you need. You have shortcuts to your music and your phone, along with navigation as well. It's a very nice system to go through. And for the home screen, you can see even more settings that you can swipe through just to quickly get to these and monitor them as you need to. Now, for the backup camera, let's quickly talk about that. We can go into it right here and pull that up, where we have the 3D camera system, and you can go through all of these pinpoints here just by pushing on these. You can get to exactly what you need to see, which is very nice. It gives you all the visibility, of course, and even for off-roading, you can use this too. So that's even more cool to see what's around you, any obstacles. You don't need a spotter. You can just watch your infotainment system. Now underneath that, we do have shortcuts to these seats. So just by pushing on that icon, that will come back to what I previously showed, along with all the climates. You can even get into your rear climates as well to turn those on and off. And then for these rotary dials, just like you saw in the rear, if I pull this towards me, we have the fan speed. If I push it away, now we have the temperature. And if I push it in one more time, we have the heated and the ventilated seat. Now, if you hold it towards myself, so you pull it out for a few seconds, that will change between manual or having it in the automatic setting. But you do have a button for auto in the middle, as well as some defrosters and a few other controls. Now underneath that, you have a wireless charging pad and a little bit of storage if you need to place items there. On this right side, with that dial all the way down, that is for the automatic setting. However, you can go through a few different more settings here, just depending on how you would like to drive this. There's a lot of off-road settings to go into, even the weighting depth. And then you have a few on-road settings, again, just depending on how you're driving, or you can put it in the automatic setting and let it do its thing. Now behind that, we have a low range gear. If I push on EV, this is how you can go between hybrid, EV, or save. And then the one on the left is the downhill assist control. You can also use that for the cruise control for off-road, which is very cool to see. Now there's a physical button for power and volume for the radio. And then to put this into reverse, we'll just push it forwards. You'll see the camera system. If I use the trigger, we can go back into drive. Without the trigger, that puts it into sport mode, and then park is just behind that. Now, right in the middle, you will notice 2 cup holders, but it's very deceptive because you can actually open this, and now you have a pretty good amount of space with some auxiliaries. So you could hide some items there if needed. You might forget them if you're not used to a cover having cup holders, so it's pretty cool to see that. And right in the middle, we have the cooler. So you have 2 different settings, so you can bring food, drinks, whatever will fit in here with you. And because there's no center storage, 2 glove boxes make up for that. We have an arrow here that's pointing up. That indicates this upper glove box here. The arrow pointing down is for the lower one there. So it's pretty cool that that makes up for this. We even have adjustable armrests for your driver and passenger. Plenty of storage, plenty of visibility. Even with that moonroof open, you have a lot of light, which is very nice. Even over this shoulder, you can clearly see around. We have some small windows by the A-pillars there. And this even has the camera system for the rear view mirror. That's not new technology, but it is nice to see incorporated into a vehicle of this size. But let's go ahead and get the all-new Range Rover out on the road. And from second gear, here we go. It is incredible not only how quick these shifts are, but it's so smooth. And as you could tell, You can't even hear this under a heavy acceleration. It is that quiet and refined feeling. Not so much on the performance-oriented side. This is more of that ultra-luxurious family-style SUV. And luckily, we get to do another acceleration, so we'll drop to third. It's so quick in those shifts, and not even having the larger engine option that is available, we are up into 8th gear. So 130 grand for this Range Rover. That's a lot of money, 6-figure SUV. But when you compare it to some of the other vehicles, other brands that are available, let's just say BMW, X5, X7, a lot more lower price point. Those can still hit 6 figures though. You have AMGs from BMW or from Mercedes-Benz, and then you also have some Lexus models. Those are mainly the 3 luxury focused SUVs. Range Rover is that next level. All of the ones that I just mentioned are very nice. They're all comfortable and they offer a good bit. And then you drive a Range Rover and you kind of understand with the adaptive suspension, that bridge was really not even anything to worry about as far as bumps go. This is a whole new level when you hop behind the wheel of the Range Rover and really put some seat time behind it. So this is exciting to be able to drive and share with you all what it's like to be in this 6-figure SUV. But the new Range Rover, I'm digging it. I love the exterior styling. Aside from the Range Rover or Land Rover Defender, the Range Rover, this Range Rover, more sleek and elegant. It has that ultra luxurious vibe to it, where a lot of other vehicles are going more to that boxy route. This one, simple, clean. I've had a lot of head turning in this Range Rover. Surprising to see that. It's a dark green, so this isn't a flashy in your face model for the week that I have it, but it's definitely turning a lot of heads. And I think just with the shape of it, some of the design elements, it's definitely classy. You know it's a Range Rover, but it is extremely nice and very well put together with everything that it has to offer. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this 23 Range Rover P440e SE. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.